Hello, hello, and welcome to ReBody Renew. I'm so glad you're here. We are going to use two tools today. The first one will be a yoga block, and just be aware that the yoga block is most commonly used to bring the ground closer to us, but also works great with different supportive positions. There are 3 heights to your block, so just be aware of that at any time. And then we will also be using a bolster, which if you don't have a yoga bolster, no big deal. I just encourage you to get a firm pillow of some sort. That will work well. We'll just be using it at the very end of our practice for support. Go ahead and find yourself laying down on your mat in a supine position, with your knees bent and your feet on the ground. Let your hands fall down by your side. And just pause here for a moment, closing down the eyes and connecting to the breath. Remember, deep breath in through the nose and out through the nose if possible. In through the nose and out through the mouth if you feel like you just need to let it go at any time during the practice today. Sometimes that's really great right when we arrive on the mat, just kind of letting go of the day. So let's just do a few breaths in through the nose, all the way down to the belly, laying them out. Let's do another one just like that. In through the nose, filling up, filling up, filling up, filling up, laying the mouth open and beautiful. And bringing the breath in through the nose and out through the nose again, drawing that circle with our breath. Letting it come all the way down into the belly, filling up through the belly and the ribs, and then up into the chest. Emptying out the same way, the opposite way that it came in. And remembering that our breath is our anchor in our practice. It is the thing that tells us if we're here or we're not. And if at any point you find yourself in a pose and unable to connect to your breath, I invite you to back out of the pose or even come into child's pose or into this pose, again, laying on your back and letting the breath be the primary purpose of the next hour of your life. Trust me, trust me, trust me. All right, so keeping that breath, we're going to walk our feet as wide as our mat here. And again, arms can just stay out by our side. Knees are going to be facing up towards the ceiling. Big inhale here. And as you exhale, let both knees drop over to the right of your mat. Good. Inhale, knees come up. Exhale, over to the left. Inhale, knees up. Exhale, dropping over to the right. Inhale, up. Exhale, over to the left. And following that motion with your own breath now. And circling that breath, no pause between the inhale and the exhale, or the exhale to the inhale. Every time we inhale, the belly rises and the knees lift back up, pointing towards the ceiling. And we exhale, they drop over to the other side. Let's do one more time, each side. Exhale, dropping them over. And inhale back up to center. Exhale, dropping them to that side. Good. Next, inhale, knees come back to neutral. Go ahead and hug them in. Maybe giving yourself a little rock side to side. And letting the breath come all the way down into the belly, even with the knees pulled in here. Really allowing that breath to drop down into the pelvis, opening up that space. Beautiful. Releasing the knees now and letting the feet come down to the mat about, of one of your foot distance away from one another. We'll say 6 inches. The knees are going to go wide in a Supta Baddha Konasana, or like a butterfly pose, but there'll be space about 6 inches in between your feet. Okay, so just feeling here, letting the knees stay wide, breathing here. And in a moment, we're going to start moving the legs again. This time we'll be coming in and out of that butterfly position with the inhales and the exhales, okay? Okay, from this position, knees are wide. I want you to give a generous inhale, let the belly expand, let it open up, and then as you exhale, knees come towards one another, closing, and pull the belly button back towards your spine. Inhale, knees go wide, pelvis tilts open, belly open. Exhale, knees close in towards one another and press the belly back towards the mat. Inhale, opening, let the pelvis rock forward. Exhale, pull the tailbone towards your chin as the knees come in. Good, one more time. Inhale, open the knees, open the belly. And exhale, press it back, knees together. Beautiful. Bring your knees to your hands. So one knee into each hand and just begin to circle them, pulling the knees towards the chest, letting them drop out away from each other, away from the body, drawing those circles towards each other and around, just massaging that ball and socket joint of the hip. Next time you pull them in, go the other way. They pull away from you, they go out and around and back up. Keep your breath going. Beautiful. Excellent. Go ahead and let the feet come back down to the mat. We're going to walk the feet wide again and do those windshield wipers, except this time we're going to hold them. So inhale here with the knees up towards the ceiling, feet are wide. Exhale, let the knees drop over to the right, holding here, breathing. We do have the option of taking that right ankle, right heel, and just tossing it over on the outside of the left knee or left thigh to help open up the side of the hip there. Again, never pain. So if we have any knee discomfort or we feel like we're forcing this position, I invite you just to let both feet stay on the ground. Breathing here into the side body. Sign it out. If you need to let it go, one more breath. And exhale. Good. Inhale the knees back up to center. And then exhale over to the other side. So checking in. Would it feel good to take that left foot, place on the outside of the right thigh or right knee? If not, just leave it on the ground and just enjoy. Maybe a little bit of opening, a little bit of stretching on the right side of the body. Drawing that circle with your breath. Remember, the breath is always our first assignment on our mat, and the physical postures are the second. Good, one more breath here. Beautiful. Inhale, the knees come back up. And I'd like you just to go ahead and grab your block. And we're going to take the middle width here. The middle width. Not the skinniest, not the widest. And you're going to place it in between your feet. We're going to take that same Supta Baddha Konasana, butterfly pose, and the block is going to be in between our feet here. Once you got that position, go ahead and lay back down on your back. And this time we're going to use our breath, but instead of moving the knees as we were the last time, we're actually going to squeeze the block as we inhale and really activate the hips and the groin and the pelvic region. And as we exhale, we're going to let it all go and let the knees just be open. The pelvis is open. Okay. So here we go. Inhale, squeeze that block together, squeeze it, feel your glutes engage, feel your lobe core engage. Exhale, let it go. Let everything go. Again, inhale, squeezing the block, pressing your feet towards one another. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Exhale, let it go. Good, 2 more times. Inhale, squeezing the block, beautiful. Exhale, let it go. And 1 more time. Inhale, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Really activate the groin. And exhale, let it go. We're just going to spend about 6 breaths here. Full pose, Supta Baddha Konasana. Maybe if you'd like to bring your hands to your belly, focusing back on that circular deep breath. Bring it all the way down, feeling that belly rise towards the ceiling. Exhale, feeling it fall down towards the ground. Letting gravity do the work here. Good. And one more deep, full breath, filling up from the bottom all the way to your collarbones and laying it out. Beautiful. You can just kind of scoot that block off to the other side and go ahead and get your hands behind your legs there and begin to rock and roll back and forth, tucking the chin, massaging the spine. Awesome. And when you're ready, we're going to come up to a seat, a comfortable seat. Now, if you notice that when you sit down on the ground, if it's tough for you to keep a nice tall spine, elevating the hips is a great option here. A blanket or a pillow is a great option there. So make sure that you can really feel grounded in your pelvis to the floor. You can feel those sits bones, those two bony points into the floor. Because that's the point in which the spine is going to rise up towards the ceiling. And your legs can be crisscross applesauce. That can be one in front of the other. Again, whatever most comfortable for you. Go ahead and place your hands on the front of your knees. And we're just going to do some spinal rolls here. So you may be familiar with cat-cow. We're going to turn this into kind of one big motion. So as you inhale the next time, come forward into a big cow, but then begin to roll to your side. And as you exhale, you're going to come into cat. Roll over to the other side. Inhale, opening the front of the body. There you go. Exhale, rounding it. Like you're scraping out a bowl of cookie dough with your spine and the sides of your body. Just investigating all of those spaces with the breath. Good job. And the next time you come forward to that open position, go ahead and reverse it. Start scraping the bowl the other way. Let your shoulders open as you come forward and let them round forward as you round the spine back. Good. One more time this way. Gorgeous. And when you reach that front, nice open position, just begin to close into a cat, but walk your hands out in front of you onto the floor, on your mat. Let your chin drop, let the back of your head relax, and breathe here. Deep breath in through the nose. Each inhale is a chance just to make some space around any tension or tightness in your tissues. And each exhale is just a moment of permission for softness in those areas. One more breath. Good. End of your exhale, just start walking your hands back. And we're going to do the same thing second side. So I want you to switch whatever leg, however you have your legs crossed, or if you have a leg in front, switch whatever one is in front. Hands to the knees again. Same thing second side. So pulling onto the knees slightly. Inhale, open the front of the body, open the front of the throat, and begin to scrape that cookie bowl. Exhale as you roll around. Inhale as you come forward. See if you can feel the fluidity of the spinal column. Good. And as you come forward next time, go and reverse the other way. Exhaling as you roll back. Inhaling as you open up towards the front. Good, and last time. Good, and as you come towards your front, go ahead and find a neutral spine again. Let's just sit it up nice and tall. And we're going to open our side bodies here. So go ahead and tent your left fingers outside of your left hip. Inhale the right fingertips up, and then exhale, reaching up and over any amount. Keeping the left hip onto the ground, reaching the right fingertips up towards the ceiling, breathing into that side body. And nice and easy. One more breath here. Gorgeous. As you exhale, letting the right fingertips find the ground. Inhale, left fingertips come up. Same thing, second side. Exhale, reaching up and over. Breathing here. Left hip is heavy, connected to the ground. Shoulders away from your ear. And one more breath. Gorgeous. As you exhale, nice tall spine, arms down by your side. Inhale, both arms come up now, reaching up towards the ceiling. Exhale, let's cactus the arms down our back, elbows come towards our ribs, and then relax the hands down to the mat. Inhale, hands come up, right by the ears. Exhale, cactus the arms, shoulder blades press into the back of the heart, hands come down by our side. 2 more times. Inhale, arms come up, reaching towards the ceiling. Exhale, peeling the scapula down the back. Hands come down towards the floor. Last one. Inhale, reaching tall. Exhale, cactus the arms down and let the hands find the floor. Fantastic. Let's get into our tabletop position. So putting hands directly underneath the shoulders. Fingers are spread wide, arms are active. So in this position, we are pressing the floor away from us, okay? Look down, make sure your knees are hip distance apart. Good, and let's find a neutral spine to start here. So pull your belly button in towards your spine and pretend that there is a string to your tailbone, pulling it to the back of your mat, and a string at the crown of your head, pulling it to the front of your mat. So nice and neutral here, feeling our weight distributed evenly between our hands and our knees. We're going to come into some cat-cow holds here. So on your next inhale, go ahead and pull through into cow position. Good. Let the belly drop, but keep the belly button pulled back towards your spine. Those shoulder blades have come down the back just like we did in the cactus arms. And I'm gently pulling or trying to drag my hands back towards my knees. Back of the neck is long, sides of the throat are long. One more breath here. Good, and as you exhale, go ahead and roll into cat. Press through the arms, let the head and the neck drop. Tuck your tail and pull your belly button up towards the ceiling. Good, breathing here, deep breaths in through the nose, all the way down into the bottom of the torso first. Good, one more breath here. Exhale. Good. Inhale back into cow. We're going to hold it again for 4 breaths. Breathing here. Let the back of your neck be long. Let the skin on your face be soft. Breathing all the way down into the belly. Tail turned up towards the ceiling. Good. And as you exhale, round it through to cat. How far can you get the spinal column to round up towards the ceiling? Breathing here. One more breath. Beautiful. I'll invite you to close your eyes here and with your breath begin to just do whatever feels good in this tabletop position. Maybe it's wagging the hips side to side with your shoulders. Maybe it's more of that same spinal rolls that we were doing seated, but now we're in this 4-legged posture. Find what feels good to you. Use your breath. If you find your brain trying to do stuff here, say thanks, no thanks. And just use your breath. Breathe deeply. See what might feel good in your body. It's not how it looks, it's how it feels. Spend 2 more breaths here. Good. Last full deep breath. Good. Coming to a neutral quadruped position again. We're going to open up the sides here. So I want to invite you to extend your right leg out back behind you. And go ahead and cross it across the left leg. Keep reaching through that. Take your right arm and reach it across your mat to the left side of your mat. Staying here, if this feels good, this feels supportive. Options to drop the right knee down to the floor. behind the left leg, or maybe drop the left forearm down to the mat. Wherever you are, breathe. Again, it's not about a destination. It is about where can you stay with your breath and your body. So circle that breath rather. No pause in between the inhales. No pause as the exhale turns into the inhale. The breath is how we remind the body that it's okay to let go of what it carries. So it's not about doing more. It's about being here, right now, with your nervous system and with your breath. Good. One more breath here. Good. And the end of your exhale, using your left arm and your left leg to stabilize you as you unwind that. And then same thing, second side. So you extend the left leg out, let it cross back over behind you, keeping it straight to start with. Let that left hand walk over to the right side of your mat. And you can stay here. You can drop the left knee down towards the floor. Maybe you drop the right forearm down to the floor. Breathing here wherever you are. The perfect place between the flow of your breath and the structure of your body, where ease and effort are 50-50. That's what we're going for. Circling that breath, and at any point, again, you can let out your exhale through your mouth with a sigh. One more breath here. Good. At the end of your exhale, use that right side of your body to support the left coming back into center. Take your knees wide, toes together, hips go back, arms extended for wide-legged child's pose. We'll take 4 or 5 breaths here. I encourage you to let just a few of those go through your mouth as a sigh, just as a nice little way to clear the whiteboard of any thoughts that have been coming up, any ruminations, any clinging, or thinking things should be differently than they are. Find that breath again. Just circle that breath. I'm telling you. This is all you do for this hour. Circle that breath. You win. Good. At the end of your next exhale, go ahead and press up just a little bit. Come back to tabletop position. We're going to go into puppy pose. So we're going to start walking the hands out in front of us, keeping the hips stacked over the knees here, so hips stay high. And you can stay here, arms reaching forward, relax the head and the neck, and start to let that space in between the shoulder blades drop down towards the mat, but keep your arms nice and active. Press the palms gently in towards the mat. If it feels good to do so, you can begin maybe let the forehead come to the mat. Again, so long as we're keeping those active arms, we really want this to be an opening in the thoracic spine, that space in between and just below the shoulder blades in the back of the neck. And if it feels good to go into full puppy pose, you can do that as well. Chest dropping, throat opening, but never crunching. And remember, your breath tells you where you go. So are you breathing? And if not, back out of wherever you are. So we got 2 more breaths here. And last one. Good. At the end of your exhale, just begin to walk the hands back. We're going to go into a closed-legged child's pose. So knees and legs come together, and we just drape over our thighs, letting the head relax, arms come to our sides. And breathing here, it might feel like you don't want to breathe down into your belly here because it's against your thighs. I encourage you to do so. Breathe deep. That space, that expansion is going to come into all those little crevices that you feel like you can't get into especially if you have your belly against your thighs or anything close to it. So breathing just as we were when we started laying flat on our backs. Good job. Circling the breath and letting go. One more breath here. Excellent, excellent. Good. At the end of your exhale, just bring your hands back by your sides, helping yourself back up, and I would invite you to find a downward facing dog. So hands again, fingers are spread, palms are connected to the mat, they're shoulder distance apart, and feet come towards the mat. Legs straighten, hips come up. Breathing here, feel free to pedal out your legs. Sway your hips side to side, shake your head yes and no. For those of you who practice more often, make sure this doesn't go into autopilot. Stay with your breath here. Be really curious about what your body may need today, in this moment, in this down dog. It's probably different slightly than what it needed in yesterday's down dog. Okay, finding some stillness here. Really pressing those hips up and back. If it feels like a lot on your hamstrings, feel free to stay up on the balls of your feet, bending the knees slightly. Good. And as you exhale next time, begin to tiptoe the feet towards the hands. As you get closer, bend those knees generously and make sure the feet stay hip distance apart. And as we ragdoll into a forward fold position, you can let the arms dangle. You can clasp opposite elbows. But again, keep those knees bent, almost like, even if we don't, that we have the chest or the belly onto the tops of our thighs. Good. Breathing here. Pelvis is wide open here. See if you can take your next inhale all the way down to the base of your tailbone. Good. One more breath. Fantastic. Releasing the elbows if you have them clasped. And I want you to slowly, ever so slowly, begin to roll up. Begin by pressing the feet into the mat. Keep the head and arms heavy, hanging. Knees start to become more straight. Beautiful. And as the legs start to straighten, keep the front of the body hanging. Tailbone straightens down towards the mat. Good. Use your core here, rolling up one vertebrae at a time. Excellent. Slowly, slowly, slowly. Eventually shoulders roll back. Eventually the back of the neck unfurls. And we find ourselves in mountain pose. Hands down by our side. Close down the eyes just for a moment. I'm just going to take 4 or 5 breaths here. Good. Feel your feet connected to the ground. Feel that gentle lift of the crown of the head towards the ceiling. Shoulders are dropping away from the ears. Breathing. Reclaiming that circular, full, connected breath. If at any point we've moved away from it. Good. And on your next exhale, begin to roll down. Opposite of how you just came up. Tucking the chin, letting the shoulders roll forward. Again, one vertebrae at a time. Letting the arms dangle until we slowly find our way back down to that forward fold. And feel free to have the knees bent here as we just did if that felt really good. Maybe coming more straight. Maybe straightening one and then the other. Good. One more breath here. Good. At the end of your exhale, bend your knees any amount. Let your hands find the mat and step back to a downward facing dog again. Breathing deeply here. Staying present. Maybe lengthening through the sides of the body. See if as you push the hips up and back, you can lengthen from the crease of the hips to the armpits. How long can you make that on each side of the body? Let the head and neck relax. One more breath here. And as you exhale, just let the knees find the mat and find your way down to your belly. We're going to find Sphinx pose. So Let the forearms come to the front of your mat. Elbows are going to be underneath the shoulders here, and fingertips are facing the front of your mat. And let the tailbone, bring the legs together. Bring the big toes together. Tops of the feet are on the mat. Beautiful. Now let the tailbone kind of be magnetized towards the mat. Let it, turn just a little bit down towards the mat and pull your belly button in. Let's keep the pelvis and the lumbar spine nice and sturdy here. Again, we're pulling those shoulder blades down to our back pockets, gently pressing the forearms into the mat, noticing the length, the back of our neck and the sides of our throat and the front of our throat. Can you make all four sides of the throat even here? Breathing. I just gave you a lot of cues. Keep that tailbone magnetized towards the mat, belly button pulled back towards the spine. Beautiful. 2 more breaths here. And last one. Good. Coming down to the mat. We're going to do scorpion here. So take your right arm, extend it out away from the shoulder. Make sure that your elbow is just a little bit higher than your shoulder. If I drew a line straight up from my right shoulder, I want my elbow to be higher than that line, okay? Palm presses into the mat, or into the floor rather. You're going to take your left hand by your left side of your chest, and as you're ready, on an inhale, you're going to press into the mat, opening the chest away from that arm, head rests onto the mat. We're going to let the left foot come find the floor, knee bent. And you can keep the right leg straight, or you can also bend that to kind of help kickstand the body in this open position. This is often a very tight area for us in the Western world. So notice if you're carrying any tension in your face. If you stop breathing, come back to that circular breath. If you need to, let it out on your next exhale, and just really soften on each exhale. Our inhales are just bringing a little bit of space. They're not trying to change anything. And each exhale, just a little bit of letting go. We don't have an agenda. We're just here with our body and our breath. Good. 2 more breaths. And last one. Good. As you exhale, go ahead and release that. And we're going to do same side, or same thing, different side. Extend the left arm out. Again, take a visual on that elbow. Being a little bit higher than your shoulder. Fingers are spread. Palm is in contact with the ground. Right hand comes to it next to your right chest. The only right chest you have. And as you inhale next time, pressing yourself open. Bending the right knee, letting the foot find the floor. Either keeping the left leg extended or kickstanding it, bending at the knee. And your right arm can stay here. Like I said, I didn't cue this on the other side. Or it can come back behind you and rest back behind you. Wherever you feel most supported, wherever you can let go the most, wherever you can keep breathing, that's where I want you. Where can you be in this pose and breathe? Good, and one more breath here. Excellent. Now on your exhale, come back through center. And we're going to come into cobra pose. So bring those big toe mounds together. Tops of the feet are flat onto the mat. So kind of gently squeeze your legs together. Your hands are going to come to either side of your chest. Elbows pulled back in towards one another. And let's just find a nice long spine here. Again, let the tailbone kind of be magnetized down towards the mat. Pull the belly button in towards the spine. You're going to keep that on your inhale as you press into the mat any amount, lifting up from the mat. Beautiful. Cobra pose. Legs are engaged. Tops of the feet are pressing into the mat. Belly button's pulled back, and we're breathing. Can you believe that? All that's happening. Elbows are pulled in. Keep all 4 sides of your throat equal in length. Fantastic. One more breath here. And beautiful. Go ahead and press yourself back to a closed leg child's pose. Knees come together, feet come together, head comes down to the mat, arms stay extended here. We're just going to flow in and out of a closed leg child's pose to cobra, just 4 times with our breath. All right. So as you inhale, come forward, stay on your knees into a knee plank. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, come up any amount to cobra. Exhale, pressing back to closed legged child's pose. Inhale, come forward, knees down plank, pull the belly button in. Exhale, lower all the way down. Inhale, up to cobra. Exhale, press up and back, close like a child's pose. 2 more times. Inhale, shifting forward to plank. Exhale, elbows in as we lower down. Inhale, belly button in, open the chest to cobra. Exhale, press it up and back. Head relaxes. Last time. Inhale, shifting forward. Exhale, lowering down, all is one. Inhale, belly button in, open the chest. Exhale, press back to close like a child's pose. Just 2 breaths here. Good. And then looking forward, find your way into downward facing dog. Just breathing here, resetting, reclaiming, letting go. Drawing that circle with your breath. Fantastic. On your next inhale, looking forward towards your hands, go ahead and step your right foot forward in between your hands and drop the back left knee. We're going to come up into a low lunge or an Anjaneyasana. Keep your right hand on your right hip here. And as you inhale, lift the left fingertips up towards the ceiling. We are going to get into the so as here. Okay, so make sure that the pressing through the right heel, the right knee is stacked over the ankle, over the heel. Make adjustments if you need to. Now begin to press the top of the left foot into the mat. Good. Let the left shoulder drop down the back, but keep reaching through the fingertips. Eyes are forward. And now pull your belly button back towards your spine. Ooh, hello, Soaz, hello. Good job. Let the front ribs soften down towards the hip bones. Oh, hello, Soaz, hello. Breathing here. Again, inhale deeply just to give some more space to those tight areas. And as you exhale, holding that structure but softening a little bit around it. Good. 1 more breath here. Good. And as you exhale, go ahead and release the hands down inside the right foot there. Keep the left leg nice and long. And we're going to be hanging out in lizard pose here. You can grab your block to help bring the floor closer to you, whether that's short arms like me or tight hips. And I want you to feel like you get that spine nice and long again. So the sides of your waist are nice and long, shoulders are on your back, all 4 sides of your throat are equal in length, the crown of the head is pulling forward, and give a gentle squeeze of that right leg into the right arm. Breathing here. You can even do that press at the top of the left toes into the mat. It helps to keep that hip from getting loose to goose on us and start dropping out of the pose. Softening the skin on your forehead and around your jaw. Good. 2 more breaths here. And last one. Good. We're going to scoot the hips back here into a half split. So bring your block with you. Keep it in your left hand. Again, take your right hand to your right hip. As you pull the right hip back, flex the toes back towards the shin and reach the crown of the head forward. Left hand's on the block, right hand's on the hip. Small bend in the knee, or maybe a medium bend in the knee, depending on how tight your hamstrings are. Breathing here. We're just here for a few breaths. Good. Then go ahead and release that and come back into lizard. But now we're going to take that right foot and just turn it off about 45 degrees at an angle on the side of your mat there. And we're going to start walking our hands away from that right hip. So reaching the hands off to the left. And you can feel free to keep the knee nice and stacked. You can let the hip fall away, whatever feels good here for you. We're going to be here for 4 or 5 breaths, cycling that breath and letting go on your exhales. Fantastic job. Really deep in the hips here. Good, 2 more breaths, focusing on that circle. Inhale, falls into the exhale. Exhale, climbs into the inhale. And 1 more. Good. At the end of your exhale, start to walk your hands back. Fantastic. Go ahead and find yourself in that down dog. Either find stillness, find a nice exhale. Maybe you pedal out your feet. One side's probably going to feel a little different than the other. But don't worry, we're going to fix that. Good. At the end of your next exhale, look forward to your hands. Bring that left leg through, dropping the right knee down. Flip those toes down to the mat. We're going to start in that Anjaneyasana. So coming up, we inhale, right fingertips up towards the ceiling. Here we go. We're going to target in to our beloved psoas. And we're going to get a gentle press of the right toes into the mat. We're going to let the tailbone magnetize down towards the mat again. We're going to pull the belly button in. We got that left knee stacked over the left ankle, over the left heel. Right shoulder drops away from the side of the face. Breathing here. That gentle engagement met with the breath. Big, deep breath down into that area. That's why it's tight. That's why it wants, or that's what it wants you to do, rather, is to breathe. The psoas is the fight or flight muscle. So when you are kind of chronically stressed or stimulated and or sitting a lot, you're going to have a lot of tightness here. Good. 1 more breath. And as you exhale, we're going to come down into that lizard pose. So again, finding the block, bringing the floor closer to you. We want a nice long side bodies and gentle press of the left knee in towards the left arm. Now can you notice the sides of your body? So the points of your hips on either side, up towards your armpits, make them nice and long. And then let that side body awareness come up through the sides of your throat up to your ears. Front ribs soften down towards the pelvis. So we're not arching in the back here. It's all about length. It's all about length. Good job. 2 more breaths. And last one. Excellent, excellent. We're going to shift back into that half split now. So bring your block with you. Block's going to stay in your right hand. Left hand comes to left hip. We're just going to push or pull rather that left hip back in space. Bend in the knee, micro or medium. Flex the left toes back. Reach through the crown of the head. Breathing here. You just got 4 breaths. Good, and last one. At the end of your exhale, now shifting back forward into that lizard position, block off to the side. Turn those left toes or left foot out 45 degrees and begin to walk the hands away from that left hip, reaching out towards the right. Wherever you are, let your head and your neck go. Relax the face. Breathing here. Good. 3 more. Deep down into the belly, filling up through the ribs, up into the collarbones. Exhale, laying it out. Good. And last one. Fantastic. At the end of your exhale, you can walk the hands back. And we're going to go through that little flow of the closed-legged child's pose again. So find closed-legged child's pose, arms extended out. Good. Inhale, coming into kneed plank. Exhale, lowering down. Inhale, up to cobra. Exhale, push the hips back. Closed-legged child's pose. Again, inhale, shift forward. Exhale, lower as 1. Inhale, opening to the front of the mat. Exhale, pressing hips up and back. Go ahead and do 2 more on your own. Keeping the belly engaged, elbows in. Throat is open. Back of the neck is long. Last one. Good. And as you press back, go ahead and find one last downward facing dog. Stretching it out, letting it go. We're going to be moving down towards our mat to begin closing our practice. So when you're ready, dropping the knees down and finding your way down to your mat. Let's make sure we have the block and either your bolster or that pillow that you brought with you, or pillows, near. Beautiful. All right, we're gonna take some supine twist with our knees at 90 degrees. So go ahead and let your back be long onto the mat and lift your knees up so your shins are parallel with the ceiling. So 90 degrees at the hips and 90 degrees at the knees. Inhaling here. And as you exhale, let the knees drop over to the right, any amount. Gaze can go over to the left, any amount. And we breathe here for 6 beautifully full and intentional breaths. If it feels good to do so, you can bring the right hand to the outside of the left leg, but there's no need to force anything here. And sometimes it's actually just nice to let the body land wherever it lands. And just don't question its intelligence. Just let your left shoulder be heavy towards the floor. Good. 2 more breaths all the way down to the belly, filling up just as we have been. And last one. Good. Now let the feet stay in contact with the ground as you bring both knees back to center. So yeah, don't lift them this time. Let them support you until you come back to center. Beautiful. Inhale, the knees come back up, shins parallel to the ceiling. Exhale, let the knees drop over to the left. Right arm reaches out, right shoulder is heavy. And gaze can either be neutral up to the ceiling or over towards the right. No matter where it feels good to place your neck, I encourage you to close down your eyes and breathe. Just let the body take the shape that it knows to take. The body's intelligence, we often override it so easily, so fast, we don't even realize we're doing it. And so much of what I love to do in the different practices that I bring with ReBody is just to remind us that maybe we should listen instead of dictate sometimes. Actually, maybe we should listen first before we have our own ideas of what we want our body to do. Good. Last breath here. Good. Again, let the feet stay on to the mat here as you begin to bring the knees back towards neutral, tippy-toeing yourself back through. We're going to take one of my favorite positions, supported bridge pose. Now, on your block, again, there's 3 heights, just as there are 3 widths. We have a low height, the lowest, and then we have a medium, and then we have the highest. I invite you to choose either the lowest or the medium. I would not advise you doing the highest. So if you don't know, start with the lowest. We're going to bring our feet underneath, or back to the mat rather. And when you're ready, bridge up, press through the heels just enough to lift the hips up, and place that block underneath your sacrum, that flat place on your back right above your glutes. And let the hips come down onto the block, fully supported. Again, lowest or medium height here. And then let the back of the neck be long. So give a gentle press of the back of your skull into the mat, very gentle. And notice your shoulders press very gently into the mat. We have this supported, elevated hip position. It can also be a chance for us to really lengthen through the back of the neck. The hips and the neck are completely connected anatomically, fascially, nervous system wise. And so as we use the support underneath the hips here, we can let go of any effort there. Maybe we can supportively let go of efforting in our neck or our shoulders or our jaw at the same time. Let's do 3 more breaths here. Almost done listening to me tell you to breathe. Good, and last one. Good. Now to come out of this, just a very gentle press into the heels to lift the hips just enough to get that block out of there. Setting the block off to the side, letting the back come to the mat. We are going to get ready to drop into Shavasana, our final resting pose. And here's where I would invite you to either bring your bolster or maybe a few pillows and place them underneath your knees. So go ahead and do that now. And once you have some support underneath your knees, go ahead and lay back down onto the mat. Good, and just release any particular breath. And let your body be fully supported by the floor underneath of you. And walk us through a gentle body scan, just reminding us to soften at the tissues, letting go of any lingering tension or any lingering effort. And so when I name a place on the body, I invite you to bring your attention to that space and just see if you can soften the tissues in that place of the body, letting go a little bit more. So I'm going to bring your awareness up towards your scalp, the skin, the top of your head, soften. To your forehead, softening. Your eyebrows, softening. Softening the skin at the temples and your cheekbones. And seeing if you can soften the eyes. Can you let go of all of the little micro muscles behind the eyes? Letting go of the jaw and the tongue all the way down to its root. Softening the skin around the ears and the side of the face and the head and the back of the scalp. Softening the back of the neck. Letting go of the sides of the neck and the front of the throat. Softening the tops of the shoulders, the collarbones. And letting go of the upper arms, just letting them be heavy. And the forearms, the elbows, the wrists, the skin at the top of the hands, the palms. Letting go of the thumbs, the second fingers, third fingers, fourth fingers, and little fingers. Completely letting go of the arms, just letting them be heavy. And softening the upper back, letting it just sink into your mat. In the middle of your back, letting it go, sinking into your mat. And letting go of the low back, letting it find its natural curve. Softening through the chest and the rib cage and the sides of the waist and the soft part of the belly. Letting everything from the belly button up go. Letting it be heavy, letting go of any effort. And letting go of the pelvis and the hips and the glutes, letting them be heavy. Softening the tops of the thighs and the backs of the thighs and the knees and the shins and the calves and the ankles and the tops of the feet and the soles of the feet, and letting go of all 10 toes. And letting go of all the tissues, all the way down to your bones. And just be curious for the next few moments. How deeply can you let go of the physical body? Gently noticing the places of contact underneath your body to the floor, beneath you, noticing the support underneath your shoulders, and your hips, underneath your legs, your arms. And noticing the breath as it comes in and out of the body. No effort required. Belly rising and falling. And just for a moment, being supported here. No effort on your part. Noticing how the floor holds you, your breath breathes you. And beginning to deepen your inhales, letting more breath come down into the belly, belly rising up towards the ceiling and falling a little bit farther on your exhale. Just intentionally beginning to bring the body back online, but just through the breath first. Just deepening your inhales. Then your exhales become a little bit more complete. And noticing the outline of your body. Can you notice where your body meets the world and the world meets your body? And beginning to bring some small movements to your fingers and your toes. Just little wiggles, little movements, nothing too serious. Wanting to be subtle and easy and loving. And letting those small movements just gradually become something a little bit more. Maybe some wrist circles or ankle circles. And point and flex the feet, open and close the hands. And when you're ready, reaching both arms overhead and giving yourself a full body stretch, like you just woke up in the morning. And then exhale, just let it go and let the body be in this position. Just noticing how good it feels to be in your body right now, how open it feels. And using your feet to just gently press the pillows or the bolsters off to the side. I invite you just to roll to one side of the body. And again, pausing here. Keeping the eyes closed, letting the head rest on the mat or on your arm. Knees are bent. And we take this intentional time to slowly come out of this restful space. We remind the nervous system and our body we don't always have to be rushing off to do something else. We can take our time. We can feel this good. And it can last. You created this. Just enjoy it. Good. And then using the arms to press yourself back up to a comfortable seated position. And closing down the eyes again if you open them to move. And just pausing here. Again, feeling the sits bones pressing into the floor, feeling that gentle, natural rise of the spine towards the ceiling. Shoulders drop away from the ears. We just take a moment here to check in with ourselves. I just ask the open-ended question, how am I feeling in this moment? And then just listening. The answer can come in how we feel physically. Maybe it's our mental quality or emotional quality of being. And there's no right or wrong answer. It's just information. If it feels good to do so, you can place your hands in front of your heart for our closing. And I'd just like to say thank you so much for sharing this time with me and showing up for yourself and allowing me to lead you in this practice. I promise you that showing up for yourself is world changing. I say that often, and I know that students don't believe me, but it is a act of change so needed in this world, where women are showing up for themselves and taking care of themselves in such a radical and consistent manner that we teach the world how to take care of itself better. It's not doing a great job right now. So thank you so much for showing up for yourself. And I hope to see you the next time around. Namaste.